If I was starting over, here is how I would generate my next or first 10K. This video is for you if you are in a season of creating your first $10,000, or if you've been stuck and in a season of feeling like I'm not sure what to do next, I'm feeling lost. I'm gonna walk through 3 different times that I was able to generate 10K from 3 different parts of my life. And I want you to take notes or promise me that as you listen, you will implement these things. So the first time that I generated 10K was when I was applying for a full-time job and I cold emailed the decision maker. I also found him in a Facebook group and I sent him a private message. So I am going to read you the actual message that I sent him, and I'm gonna break down why this worked and why it got me a role that paid almost 6 figures. All right, so the email subject says, Biz Dev Manager, opportunity at Udemy, I'm interested. So notice the specificity, and I am putting my flag in the ground. Now, I want you to listen through the lens of you are able to connect with a client or a customer. In this case, it was for a full-time job opportunity, but it could be an organization, a company, an individual that you want to work with on consulting or freelancing, or you have a coaching or digital product or high ticket offer that you want to provide, okay? So it says, hey Dinesh, I'm in the Startup Marketing Mafia group with you on Facebook, and I saw that Udemy is looking for a business development manager. I love Udemy and, well, the online learning and info product space, so I wanted to speak with you about it. I've been studying info product launches, and I think there are strategies that infopreneurs like Marie Forleo and Lisa Sasevich use that Udemy could leverage for increased reach and sales. So let's just pause. I packed a lot into just that first paragraph. First, I said what I'm interested in. I said where I know him from. So it's not just, I'm just cold emailing you out of the blue. I said, I'm in the Startup Marketing Mafia group with you. So I established myself as a peer with him. Then I said, I saw that Udemy is looking for a biz dev manager. Okay. And then I said, not only do I love Udemy, but I'm also just familiar with and passionate about the online learning space in general. And then I said, I've been studying product launches, and I named 2 specific people in the space that he may or may not have heard of. So when you use specificity and you reference leaders in the space, even if they haven't heard of these leaders, they're gonna lean in because they're gonna say, wait, this person has been studying up, they know their stuff. And then I ended by saying Udemy could leverage these things for increased reach and sales. So you want to identify that you see a need they have and you have a feeling that you can help them solve it. So then I go and say, as an outsider, I can only take a guess at the immediate needs and opportunities for Udemy. Okay, so they're leaning in. They're like, wait a minute, you have an idea about what I need? Tell me more. And I list 2. The first one is I say, we can pack Udemy's course pipeline with quality, actionable courses that your audience wants. How? Actively engage domain experts and work with them to create their courses in 4 weeks using instructional design principles. After all, the hardest part of creating a course is creating the damn thing. So I identified a need that, well, Udemy is a marketplace of online courses and, well, they need more creators to create online courses. And then I said, I know that the number one issue with creators creating courses is, well, creating it, right? They don't know instructional design. They don't know the methodology. So I inserted that I am familiar with a methodology, okay? So I want you to be thinking about the niche you're in, and there's a methodology that you've been practicing or that you can put together. The second thing I said is that Udemy probably wants to reach new tribes of people who are anxious to purchase Udemy's online courses. How? We can aggressively identify and establish relationships with large publishers and niche blogs, such as Forbes and Under 30 CEO, as new distribution channels or affiliate partners. Now, I know this is a lot of marketing jargon, but I'm speaking to my audience, right? I'm speaking to the director at the time, the director of marketing at a company that's in the online education space. So he understands that in marketing, you want more distribution channels, you want more marketing partners, and you probably want affiliates. And so again, I named specific ones, such as Forbes and Under 30 CEO. I named a big one that he probably has heard of, and then a smaller one, a more niche one that he may not have heard of. So you want to ask yourself, how can I put the person on game. The person I'm messaging and emailing, how can I let them know that I'm familiar with the space, I've done my research, but I'm also gonna put you on game so that by just reading my message, you are going to feel more knowledgeable. And then I end it with, I'd love to hear more about Udemy's priorities, what you're looking for, and see if there's a potential fit. Let me know if you're free any day this week around 1 p.m. PST. And if not, what day and time you prefer. I also sent you a Facebook message, so you can ignore that. I look forward to connecting. So here, I'm being very specific about next steps. I would love to connect about your priorities. Here's when I am available. Any day at 1 p.m. PST. So give them something clear. When you message someone and you say, let me know when you're free, it can be overwhelming for a busy person, and they're gonna say, you're having me do more work and figure out some times on my calendar. Give me a Calendly, like a calendar scheduler link, or give me some times, okay? And then I let him know, not only am I engaging you here in your inbox, but I also sent you a message on Facebook. So as a potential hire, I'm showing him I put in the effort. I'm not just a one and done. I'm here long-term, putting in the work, okay? So here is your action step. It doesn't matter that this was an email for me getting hired, right? Getting an almost six-figure role, which would work out to almost 10K a month. And that's what we're talking about, generating your first 10K. But this can be applied if you are freelancing, consulting, if you have a high ticket offer. You can use this method to land your first 10K client, or if it's priced at 5K, your first two 5K clients. But here's what I want you to do. Okay, number one, make a list of decision makers. So let's say that you help people who are writing their books. You are a nonfiction ghostwriter. Then you would make a list of quote unquote decision makers, or I like to call them your MVPs, most valuable payers. Who are some people that have openly said they're writing their book right now, or who are some big personal brands that haven't written a book yet that may want your support? Make a list of those people. And then, again, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. Maybe you're a fitness trainer or a nutritionist. I want you to do the same exercise and think about who would I be excited to work with. By the way, if you're not sure what niche you're in or what you could offer people, you can watch my How to Make $1 Million This Year video. I go into detail with my RES framework that helps you identify results, experiences, and skills that you can offer. So after you make that list of your decision makers, number two, you are going to message them. So I just broke down why my message was effective. I want you to write something like that. Your goal is just get into action. Okay, notice any thoughts that come up when I say send them a message. You might have a voice that's saying, but I don't have a website, but my social media profiles aren't updated, they're not professional. Okay, then get into action and update them. Go on your LinkedIn, update your bio, go into Canva, take 5 minutes, design a new header, and do one post on LinkedIn that says, this is how I'm working with people over the next month, over the next quarter. Here's what I've been able to do in my past. Here's what I'm really passionate about. So don't just say, but, just update the social media profiles. If you're gonna be sending messages on LinkedIn, update your LinkedIn, right? If you're gonna be sending them an email, and in your email signature, it links to your LinkedIn or your Instagram or your TikTok or your YouTube, then just make sure that the most recent post is reflecting and reinforcing what you're messaging them about. I'm gonna give you 2 other things that are gonna make your outreach even more effective. Okay, let's workshop a little bit together. So one thing that has been really effective are voice notes. I myself have sent voice notes to people I was interested in working with, and I sent them over Instagram. So if you are connected with them on Instagram or another platform that enables you to send voice notes, do it. There's so much that you can convey through your voice. Like, your voice is literally a frequency, a sound frequency. And there are signals you can send through your voice that don't always translate through written word. So when I was enrolling people into my coaching program, it was a 10K program for, I think it was 8 weeks at the time. And I sent follow-up voice notes to people who expressed interest in it. And I let them know that we're getting started on Monday or the week after, and I would love to invite them to join us. So if there's any way that you can connect with someone over a voice note, highly recommend it. The second thing you can do to strengthen your outreach and have it stand out is you can send them a Loom video showing them that you've done some pre-work. So I've been on the receiving end of some of these, but when someone is letting me know that they are interested in supporting me, because they can see from the outside, make some guesses about what my goals, my next milestones might be, and they have a guess as far as how they can help. They will record a Loom video. I love Loom, by the way, but they will just screen record and say, here's some things I'm noticing, here's how I think we can tighten this up, or here's a sample thing that I would love to do with you. So for instance, if you're a fitness instructor, you might do a Loom recording or send a video of a specific workout or a nutrition plan that as an outsider you think would be effective for them. You know, I work with high performing, overachieving women who are over 40 and they have not been able to get rid of that last part of their weight. I'm gonna just show you in this video a quick workout that I would have you start with. And this is perfect for you because XYZ, right? I gave one example for fitness, but I want you to think about whether you're a designer, a landing page designer, a writer, a parent, and you're looking to work with other parents. It doesn't matter. I want you to get creative and think about how can I adapt this in my outreach to help it stand out. What I want to encourage you to do is remember that you have the ability, even though this might be your first 10K or your next 10K and you've been kind of stuck, you have the ability to step out into the market as a premium brand from day one. And you do that through specificity, letting your customer know, I can see these specific areas you need help in, and here are specific ways I can support you. And here is a piece of media, a Loom video, a voice note, a video of you doing something, and I am going to connect with you and take it one step further and show you that I have specific effort that I'm putting towards this relationship. All right, so I want you to let me know in the comments which of these you have the intention of trying out. Reach back out to former leads or people you worked with in the past, re-engage them, or go to your dream list and engage new people. But you can do this. Goodbye to the overthinking, no more spectating. In this special season, when you're generating your next 10K or first 10K, it is about experimenting. It is about doing things that don't necessarily scale, because you're figuring out what works best, what messaging works best, what platforms work best, what type of outreach works best. So have fun, be in the sandbox and experiment. Now, I want you to do this every day for the next 30 days. I promise you, your life will be different in the next 30 days when you send several messages every single day to these decision makers. And as you send the messages, you can continue to modify. You know, my mantra here is do it ugly, do it often, do it better. So do it ugly, get into action, and then do it often. Do it every day, several times a day, and then do it better. As you see over time, am I getting responses? What are the responses like? Are they asking follow-up questions that I can address in the first email? But you can do it better and improve it over time. All right, so let me know when you try this in the comments, or if you intend to try this in the comments, okay? Now, the second time that I was able to create $10,000 is in 2015, I was laid off. So this was from another startup that was in the hair space, and I got laid off along with a third of the company. So what I did is, instead of hiding in shame that I was laid off, I was open to my friends about it. And the day after I was laid off, I went to my friend's house for his Friendsgiving, and I told him, hey, here's what happened to me. And he said, oh my gosh, can I hire you? I'm actually looking for someone to help me with my small business clients within my new company. And I said, absolutely. And it was a 65K gig. So I signed on right away. And then over the next week, I told 2 more friends that I had been laid off, and they said, can I hire you? Now, the reason this worked is because I had been actively sharing my passion for online education, online courses, working with clients, helping people build their personal brands. So what you can start doing from now is being an advocate for your interests. Be an advocate for your passions. Wherever you are, I don't care if it's a family gathering, a friend gathering, a party, a house party. I would be the girl in the back of the house party talking to somebody about how to negotiate their salary, okay? Because I'm like, let's get you the money you deserve for your skill set. And I'm gonna talk to you at this house party about it. Like, be that person, okay? Be oozing with the passion and the stories that you have. And then when you're in need, or not in need, but when you are open to an opportunity, they're already gonna be aware on how you are an asset. All right, so I want you to make a list of upcoming events that you're attending, friends, gatherings, and things, and start rehearsing how you're gonna show up and how you're gonna be open about the opportunities you are actively creating. And yes, even being open that you're looking to work with clients that fit this criteria. All right, the third thing I did, this was in 2016. And I was freelancing and consulting. I didn't have predictable or sustainable revenue yet. Here's what I did though. I put myself in rooms and conversations with leaders. So even though I didn't have sustainable income, I bet on myself. And I paid to attend a women's conference that my friend Morgan was putting on in New York. I was in Oakland, California. So I put up the amount for the flight, and 3 days before the conference, Morgan calls me and she says, "Hey Danielle, I saw that you're coming to the conference." And I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Can you MC?" So had I ever hosted or MC'd before? Absolutely not. What did I say? Absolutely, yes I can. Did I have any idea what I was doing? Nope. But I said yes. I accepted the invitation. And here's one thing that we do when we are creating our first 10K. Not only are we in imperfect action, but we are building the plane as it's flying, okay? It does not need to be fully assembled before we take off. We are building it as we go. So I accepted the invitation, and then I started scripting. I started outlining. I started writing my little jokes and my Beyonce references. I looked at the agenda for the conference and started writing the intros that would need to happen. Because I got into action. When I MC'd, okay, and I was looking cute and everything, I had my little leather jacket and my tutu, it was cute. After I MC'd, Morgan followed up and she said, "The women at the conference want to hear more from you because you kept mentioning little tips here and there." Remember what I said? Ooze about your interests and what you're knowledgeable about. So because I was oozing and super excited, she said, "Can you put on like a webinar? And in your webinar, can you sell your course? Aren't you working on a course?" Truth be told, I was working on my course, but I had been working on it for, at that point, like 8 months. And I had been afraid of launching it. I didn't announce it to anyone. I was quietly working on it, overworking on it. But I said yes anyway. I said, of course, yeah, I can do a webinar. Had I done a webinar before? Nope, but I did it anyway. And I did my best. And we had technical difficulties. People couldn't get into the room. I had to open up a separate Zoom room. I did it anyway. And I was able to make $14,000. It was far from perfect, but I did it. This is the attitude when we're creating our first $10,000. Now, the offer I sold was priced at $1,200. And then I had an upsell that was $4,000. So you could get my group program. And if you wanted the group program plus 3 one-on-one sessions with me, then it was $4K. So in this case, I already had the offer because I was doing a webinar and I needed to sell it at the end of it. In the other 2 examples I gave you, I didn't have my offer ready. I just messaged them and said, in the first case, I have an idea about what you guys need at Udemy and I have an idea about how I can help you solve it. Here's some knowledge I have, but let's talk further and create what we need to do together. So you can be collaborative with the decision maker or with your MVP, okay? So what I want you to think about is, are there any rooms that you can join? So the room that I joined in this last example was that I was going to this conference, right? Even though I had a little bit of insecurity, I'm like, I'm still figuring things out, but this is the room I want to be in. It's going to be women who are learning about growing their side hustles, learning about building their personal brands online. I'm going to be there. And then lo and behold, an opportunity showed up. With the case of Dinesh at Udemy, I joined the Startup Mafia Marketing Facebook group. I want you to think about what groups you can join, and they could be Facebook groups. They could be paid programs and courses where you are meeting people, because you can always find people who are potential clients and you can learn more about their needs, and then you can let them know, I'm willing to do a call and see if there are ways I can help you because it seems like you need some support with this in the next month. Okay, so if you want any help creating your first offer that can get you to create that first or next $10,000. Or if you want to upgrade your offer, and it could be a $2,000, a $5,000, a $10K offer. I've sold offers ranging from $7 all the way up to $65,000. In my sweet spot, my signature program was $2,000 to $2,500. So I'll link in the description box below that you can book a one-on-one VIP session with me to get my eyes on your offer or to help you create it in that live session together. All right, so I hope that you are going to get into action. Let me know in the comments below what inspired action you are going to take so we can create your next or first $10,000 and do it in a way that feels fun. Again, that it's around some passion or area of interest that you've already been working in. It's based on your life experiences. And if you need other support, check out my other videos. All right, I'll see you in the next video.